St. Paul, The Fan.
Fan the flames. Yay!
Fan the flames.
Hey, 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 hey,
flames and be true.
Right.
To the red, white, and navy blue.
Navy blue.
And the fire and the flames with the spirit of flame. Win the victory for old LU.
LU, 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 LU. You know?
Did you say plus 17.5?
Well,
is that what that vibe is?
The third point spread reference has taken place at a National Football League facility, and I had nothing to do with any of them.
I can't help it.
Please let people on the third floor know. Gabe Henderson at Gabe A. Henderson via Twitter, Vikings.com, Vikings Entertainment Network. Let's see, Oregon Ducks. Mm-hmm. There are no L's in that name. Liberty Flames, I got a couple of L's in there.
Yeah.
17.5-point dogs in the Fiesta Bowl. What a fine mess you may have gotten your alma mater into, and good morning.
There were two O's in Oregon.
Liberty defense.
33-0.
I can't wait to watch that. You got me so fired up about this game, man. You're 17.5-point dogs, like Nordo said. Bo Nix, no Bix, the whole thing. I mean, it's the Fiesta Bowl. It's your alma mater. What a defining, shining moment for that tiny little Christian school. Is it out Virginia way?
Yeah, Central Virginia, the largest Christian school in the world. Over 100,000 students, both online and in person.
Really?
And just thinking of the fact that Liberty was actually playing in the New Year's Six Bowl, we did need a lot of help. SMU had to win. We needed some other schools to lose. But I'm hoping that our Sunday game against the Packers gets flexed to get moved earlier up in the day instead of Sunday Night Football, because I'm going to the game.
Right.
In Phoenix.
There's zero chance that one's getting flexed.
I know. So I'll probably only get like an hour or 2 hours of sleep to go.
So you're going?
I'm going.
You're flying to Phoenix and then going to Glendale?
Yep, I'm flying to Phoenix and going to Glendale. 5 a.m. flight. I booked it last week. So it's history, right? Like, I'm not going to say I don't expect us to win, but at the same time, who knows the next time Liberty is going to be in a Fiesta Bowl. So
what if Bo Nix ends up with like a third or a fourth round draft grade after Liberty exposes some key weaknesses for the former SEC/Oregon Duck? That might be awesome. That might be the unofficial trophy that is held in cases. Is we lost, but we played so damn well we affected a QB's future.
Right?
I'm all for it. I think Bo Nix is playing. I was hoping that he was not, but that kind of changes the line a little bit if he doesn't play. I believe it started out at like 10 because they were saying he wasn't playing, and then now it's 17. So.
So he was going to skip it like for the draft bid?
Yeah, like Jaden Daniels at LSU and basically say, I'm going to the draft.
Could he disrespect your team anymore?
Exactly. That's what I was saying. It's like, look, this is Liberty here, not Washington. Like, you better play against these Flames. Like, what are we thinking right now? But, yeah, I'm excited just to be there, just to see that atmosphere. Alik Terry, former defensive line coach for the Vikings. He's the O-line coach for Oregon. Wow. So it'll be good.
Now you know where to get tickets.
Yeah, I got tickets through Liberty. I
can imagine.
But it'll be good to kind of see some familiar faces.
What's Malik Willis doing these days?
He's still in Tennessee.
Okay, is he like hurt or like injured?
No.
Okay. What I'm thinking here is, whatever network is carrying this game is when they show a couple of young strapping individuals sitting in the fifth row wearing sunglasses, it would be you next to Malik Willis, Liberty's finest with the alma mater, and you guys would be like the Jack Nicholsons of Liberty, kind of like he is for the Lakers games, man. That'd be sweet.
I don't know if he's going. I know a few of my other teammates, Rashad Jennings.
The running back for the Giants?
Running back for the Giants. Ooh. Walt Aikens, the defensive back for the Dolphins. They'll both be there, so it'll be a good turnout. Like, I haven't seen, my teammates in this setting like this in years. So it'll be good just to.
I got news for you. Nobody in the history of Liberty Flames football has seen their teammates in a setting like this in the history of the university.
Never.
With all due respect,
never. And like I said, who knows when it'll happen again? Like I'm being realistic about it.
Awesome.
But I'm excited. I remember
Sam Congato was a former Liberty Flame.
The Packer.
The Packer.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
The running back. So
that's a highly underrated alma mater we got here.
we got a few names.
Yeah.
We got maybe have to Google a few. I think we have a first rounder who's drafted in the 1983 draft, wide receiver. So
oh wow.
We'll see what it looks like, but I'm excited for it. Just to be out, I guess get some sun in January will be fun too.
Are you going to watch the game from the sideline? And if so, are you going to because I would imagine, getting that sneaky pass, being fan the Flames immortality from the slot, you probably got at least a shot to get it. And if that's the case, and there's a situation by the sideline, would you be like a member of the Seattle Seahawks practice squad who elbowed A.J. Brown and now that guy's in a bunch of trouble?
Yeah, I will not be that guy. I'm going to be on my Ken Griffey / Kevin Durant. I have my personal camera, and I'll be on the field taking pictures. So
wow.
I'm actually going to document this as a time in history and still try to be present in the moment and enjoy the game. But yeah, I'm going to be on my full athletic photographer energy at Glendale Stadium.
So
in Glendale.
So if the Good Burger vibe has officially slowed, you're going to do your very best to revive that. Are you going to wear the overalls on the sideline?
I may wear the traffic, the little vest that stops traffic middle of the night. I mean, the color of that is just insane. But yeah, I'll be on the sideline taking pictures.
That's cool.
Still with my Liberty gear on. So we'll see.
Okay, so I mean, seriously speaking, 17.5-point dog in a bowl game. Oregon cannot be number one in the country. Yeah. So therefore, Bo Nix and the gang, they probably at one point probably were shooting for that top spot, and there probably has to be a little bit of a buzzkill that they don't get to play in that Final Four. So maybe I don't know. Can we win? Can we win if we catch them off guard a little bit?
Yeah, I believe so because we can run the ball really well. I believe we lead Liberty leads the college. They lead all of college football in rushing yards per game. And then on the defensive side of the ball, they lead the NCAA in interceptions and takeaways.
So a college football team that runs a lot.
Yeah, that
sounds great.
Kind of like Army. But our quarterback, Caden Salter, I believe has 3,000 passing yards and over 1,000 rushing yards. So this guy is up.
You weren't selling us with the Army thing, but now you hit us with the pass yards.
I mean, he's the next Kellen Mond.
Yeah, or Malik Willis.
Yeah.
He's a guy that can both. He can stretch the field, both running the ball and throwing the ball, and that's kind of our saving grace right now.
Right.
If Oregon tries to stop our quarterback, we can run the ball effectively with our running backs. But I believe we'll have to score a defensive touchdown to at least be in consideration of beating Oregon in the Fiesta Bowl this year.
Have you checked flights just to see? I mean, like in case you're down 35-0 at halftime, is there a red eye at like 11:15 or something? Get you back home to Baby Ella?
Yeah. I'm hoping I don't need that. Hoping, the night kind of turns in our favor. With some of my guys, win, lose, or draw, we're able to just enjoy Old Town Arizona a little bit.
Can you imagine if you guys win this game, like Old Town Scottsdale or whatever, and the Liberty alum and the fan base and everything? I mean, there are going to be thousands of Flame fanners that are going to be there, but like you and Rashad Jennings, man. I mean, with Rashad's cash, he should rent something out if you guys win that game.
Well, it's against the Liberty way, which is a real thing. It's against the Liberty way to drink and do any type of extracurricular activity. So
I didn't realize this was BYU, but anyway.
Yeah.
It is one of the most conservative colleges in the country,
if not the most. Yeah, that's a good point. So
got it.
There will be a celebration for sure. I
didn't say you had to drink. I'm just saying get a room and just get everybody together to celebrate.
Well, it'll be
Bible study,
mini ham sandwiches.
Yeah.
Fruit punch.
No doubt.
Yeah, and
Chick-fil-A.
And fellowship.
Band the plane.
That's good. That's all good.
Chick-fil-A and Bible study.
This is so sweet.
I'm excited.
What time's the game?
11 a.m. Pacific time. So
you're flying back that day?
Yeah, I'll be flying back Tuesday morning at 5 a.m.
Oh,
so
okay.
I'll be back for work with red eyes.
Yeah, that's cool. Just put Julia on Ella duty, just the full time, right?
Mom's in town.
Yeah. Oh, good.
Mom and sister are in town, so I had a backup plan.
Vikings and Lions Sunday at noon. Gabe Henderson will be in the Vox box and chronicling it with between the lines and stuff like that. We'll get into that game when 9 to noon continues from TCOPC. Yeah,
KFAN, The Fan. It's a Wild Wednesday on the Fan, and it's sponsored by Jim Beam, the official bourbon of the Minnesota Wild. And we want to send you to the game. Caller 11 right now, win a pair of tickets to see the Wild take on the New York Islanders January 15th. 1-800-320-5326. That's 1-800-320-5326. Good luck. It's a Wild Wednesday on the Fan.
Never missing a beat, yeah. Boy, was it neat, yeah. Not just neat, but she was totally neat when she did the freak with me. Never missing a beat.
All right, just quickly before we wrap with the Lions and the Vikings, and 3 games to go in the Minnesota Vikings regular season with Gabe Henderson at Gabe A. Henderson via Twitter. Because you follow this dramatically more than me and more than the 9 to noon tandem, college football, but like Alabama at Michigan's Bowl. Is this going to be one of those bits where, like, Michigan with that unbelievably cool defense, got a bunch of NFL players that are going to hit the draft this year and the next? I mean, really, really rock solid defense. But then you watch it and they get it like against an SEC school, and all of a sudden they're down like 23 points, and you're like, hey, they just don't have the offense to catch these SEC schools. We've just seen it so many times. What do you think of Michigan and Alabama?
I think that's probably the best game right now that you can make in the college football playoffs. Both teams are evenly matched, and I say that simply because Alabama has had a down year. Granted, they did beat Georgia. That was a big-time win, but a lot of people can say Michigan has been the best team in college football the past couple of years. They just can't get out of their own way. So the fact that they get a matchup in Bama, 2 just rugged teams, I believe that's going to be a fan-friendly affair for both teams, or for any viewer that's watching that game.
What do you think about, with the right to change the opinion, the closer we get to the draft and you learn more about the kid, but J.J. McCarthy in the National Football League, what do you think?
I actually have watched a lot of his games, and there's a bunch of Michigan fans here that I discuss, I feel like every Michigan game with, that works inside TCOPC. And J.J. McCarthy, for what he does well, he does make a lot of mistakes. And I'm just thinking about, I think it was the 3rd game of the season. It might have been UNLV, some team, and it was a blowout win, but he threw 3 interceptions. And it's like, dude, just show what you're made of and not play down to the level of competition. So he's a good game manager, can get the ball out, can get the ball anywhere. It's just sometimes when it comes to the level of play, his play doesn't always live up to the standard.
Do you think part of it, sorry to interrupt,
good.
But I just, when I look at JJ, it's tricky for me, and we were joking about Bo Nix, and Bo Nix does so much for that Oregon offense. So really, in a lot of cases, you get to see all of Bo.
Yeah.
With Michigan, I mean, they run with Corum or whatever the hell his name is, that running game is unbelievable. So he'll have games where it's like 10 to 12 for 80 yards and 2 TDs.
Right.
They win by 30 points, and that management aspect. So at the next level, then I have a hard time projecting, what if JJ's got to throw it 35 times in a game? What does that look like? You don't see it.
That's a good point. And the fact that they have a really good offensive line also, it's like, well, why is he throwing these interceptions? I mean, if you talk to a few scouts, they'll look at Bo Nix tape. I'm going to just use Bo Nix as an example. And they'll say, out of the 60 times he throws a game, there's probably only 10 plays you can actually scout, because that's what an NFL offense will run. So same thing with J.J. McCarthy. I wonder how many plays that he's playing or throwing the ball that they're actually scouting versus, well, we'll never see an offense run this kind of offense in the NFL.
All right. Apologies here to college football devotees. I should know this, but I don't. Is today National Signing Day?
Yes, early
signing day.
Okay, and it's you think I'm going to go down the road on a bit here, but I'm not. Like National Signing Day, early signing day, when you were coming out of high school, going to a D1 school. Like what was that like for you? I mean, was that a big moment for you and your family?
Huge. We had
for you, it was still February, right? Did they have the early time when you were coming out?
I did early, and I was thinking about, I committed early because I was thinking about enrolling in school in January. So I had one of my college teammates, he enrolled in January, and I was like, well, maybe I should do that. And my mom was like, no, you need to walk across that stage this upcoming June. So I thugged it out, like my mom would say, and finished the semester. But yeah, early signing day was man. It honestly, like, all scholarship offers and having all that notoriety is great, but it's like the most stressful thing for an athlete that's 17 or 18 years old, because you only can make one decision, and you want to make the right decision. But you're also weighing the pressures of family and friends. So it was a lot of fun, but it was one of the most stressful days of my life.
So if NIL had been in play at that time,
I would have got the bag, PA.
Would you got the bag?
I would have got the bag.
Wait, Liberty is where? Located where?
Virginia.
What city?
Lynchburg.
Lynchburg?
Yeah, Central Virginia.
Okay, I mean,
I know.
It's like the pump and munch. I mean, how much can they really? I mean, hey, 5,000 helps, and anything helps, right?
Yeah, and the thing is, like, anything does help, but what Liberty athletes are getting now, I won't say any names. You can kind of read between the lines. There were people with Infinity car dealership sponsors.
Oh, wow.
At Liberty a few years ago.
Okay, so if you're at Liberty and you're looking for NIL, I mean, where do you start? Like the Billy Graham Museum outside of Charlotte, and then do you call Joel Osteen, or what do you do?
You probably do something in education. It's the largest Christian education school in America. Like I said, Liberty had a $4 billion endowment in 2012.
Yeah.
So
that sounds awesome.
There's a lot of money to be made.
So with your signing day, did you have like 3 hats in front of you or something, like Coastal Carolina, Towson State, and Liberty, and then you unveiled it? No, I'm going to fan the flames.
So it's funny. I committed to Kent State my sophomore year of high school.
Wow.
And
is that in Ohio?
Yeah, that's in Ohio. So I decommitted.
Big Julian Edelman fan.
Josh Cribbs and Julian Edelman hosted me on my official visit.
What?
So they were the 2 guys that were there when I got off the plane.
That's the bomb.
So
you kidding me?
I went there with my dad. Yeah, I went there with my dad.
How can we always learn one of these massive things that you never tell us when, like, this time last year it was, oh yeah, my mom used to babysit Chris Paul. Like, where the hell did that come from?
It's crazy. So, like, Julian Edelman, like, when I was getting recruited to Kent State, Julian Edelman was the guy. Like, when you come here, this is who we want you to model your game afterwards. So when I got off the plane, got to the facility, boom, Josh Cribbs, Julian Edelman are standing there, and I leave, and I'm like, Dad, I'm going to school here. I was young. I was 16 years old. And fast forward, I ended up decommitting. The coach left. Was going to commit to Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech offered me a scholarship.
Damn.
They said it was between me and one other guy. He committed before I did. Turner Gill, who was at Buffalo, offered me at Buffalo.
Well,
I didn't commit there. He went to Kansas.
Bro, he's highly sought after.
I almost committed to Kansas about 3 days before I committed to Liberty.
So and I don't know how you settled on Liberty in the end, and
facilities.
You loved your time there. You get off the bus, and one of Tom Brady's favorite receivers all time, and then a guy until Cordero Patterson passed him, had the most kick return TDs in NFL history, Josh Cribbs.
Seriously.
They greeted you there. Is it Blacksburg where VTech is?
Tyrod Taylor was the guy that
Go ahead with it.
Yeah, Tyrod Taylor, Mike Vick, Marcus Vick.
Yes, Mark.
I wouldn't say the Big Brothers.
Probably forget Marcus in this particular case.
Highly sought after. Holy cow!
It was stressful. It was stressful, but it was fun.
So when did you get the news from your preference, the baby blue of the Tar Heels? When did you get the heartbreaking news that we're interested in you, but we're probably going to move forward with Trubisky at quarterback because you're too short? Like, when did you get that news, and how did you handle it?
Well, Hakeem Nicks probably texted him and gave him the news.
Yeah, I also got Lawrence Taylor. Why is Lawrence Taylor at my house?
See, you hit the A topic. All I could think of was Hakeem Nicks.
Hakeem Nicks was solid.
The bomb.
Great.
Joe Daly. Just thinking about all those guys.
What if Julius Peppers had shown up at your house and said, "Look, now we know because you're diminutive, you're taking an L on the position you want to play. Yeah. We really want you to be a Tar Heel as a receiver." Would you have gone?
No. So I actually,
Julius Peppers put a fat L on him like that.
I would say this. I had a few schools that told me that
he drove all the way from Charlotte.
That's what I was saying. I'm like, dude. I mean, you're a Panther. You're only driving halfway across the state to make this commitment. Make me commit. But I had a few schools tell me if I was open to switching positions, they would have offered me a full scholarship, and I was gung ho on playing quarterback. And I'm still to this day, I'm glad I made that decision.
Yeah, Geno Smith at West Virginia is like, if you can just be like Steve Slayton, you have an opportunity. You have a future.
Or Pat White. I mean, you named the
Pat
guy.
White.
Right. Well, no. Let me just land the plane with this one.
Okay.
And I'm gonna play right on your heart, and I want you to be honest with your buddy. Okay. Yeah. If now, granted, who was it? Mac Brown who let you know?
It was Larry Fedora, I believe.
Larry Fedora.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, so you're not going to play quarterback. You want to play quarterback, but say all of a sudden, Mom opens the door, and there's Raymond Felton and Tyler Hansborough saying, "Look, we play basketball, but we care about the colors in the football team, and we'd really, really like you to be a Tar Heel." What would you have done?
I would have said, how many pair of Jordans come with this commitment?
And that's before NIL, so that's how it works.
Yeah. So,
hey, fan the flag.
I probably would have committed.
How do we beat the Lions on Sunday?
Play a complete game and don't turn the ball over. This Detroit Lions team can beat you in a number of ways, running the ball, throwing the ball, trick plays. Their defense is solid, but if this Vikings team with the coaching staff that it has plays a complete game and do not turn the ball over, I believe this could be a win on Sunday with this whiteout. I'm looking to go 2-0 in winter whiteouts at US Bank Stadium.
Yep. Yeah, the whiteout, and doesn't it feel it's just that simple? And PA and I've talked about it, like the Nick Mullins thing, and it's in some ways it's just as simple. Like the offense looked so much more like what we needed, what we expect, what we anticipate. All that's good. But then the freak out factor comes in the late second half, and suddenly we're giving the ball away in the red zone, and it's awful.
Yeah.
So in some ways, the simplicity of this game, or at least from an offensive standpoint, loved what you saw, loved the scoring drives, loved Ty Chandler. Just keep the freaking ball, and it's over.
Yeah, and I think the two turnovers that happened at Cincinnati, they were so glaring because they were in the red zone that it makes you think that if we can just kick a field goal and not turn the ball over, this offense or this team could be in better shape. I personally...
We're going to start kicking it on second down if Kevin O'Connell starts seeing any more of these red zone turnovers.
Stop that.
Oh, it's going to be one run to Ty Chandler, put it on Greg Joseph's preferred side, and just kick the thing and get out alive with 3 points.
I mean, last Christmas Eve, he walked off from 61.
That's true.
Now, the problem is that's the last walk-off winner that we have. That's the last one. It's a year ago.
Goodness.
61. That was unbelievable against the Giants.
Let's make it an annual thing.
That was fun.
Okay, so here in closing, you being one of the more competitive people that I have in my life, you're not overtly competitive with trash talking and demeaning somebody. I don't mean it like that. You're just a competitive human being. The athlete in you will come out in subtle ways. So I think you can really appreciate this. You can't let what's funny.
Just I love how you set up questions.
Fan the flames, fan the flames. You can't let a team close on your field.
Yeah.
I mean, it may happen, and they're good. They may be a better overall team than us right now, when you got that fourth quarterback situation and all that. But you just can't let a team roll in.
Bad for the brand.
And win a division for the first time in 30 years right in front of Christmas on your field.
Yeah, that is worst case scenario for this Vikings team. At least split with the Lions and win this one. If you win this one, you pretty much put yourself in a position where you could kind of right your own ship if you beat the Packers. You have to win 2 out of these next 3. But don't let that one loss be at home with another team clinching on your field. I'm sure Kevin O'Connell is emphasizing that every game from here on out is a must-win, but that starts with this upcoming Sunday. I'm excited. I'm sure there's a bunch of things going on at US Bank Stadium. Of course, it's a whiteout, but we have some cool tricks up our sleeve, the Vikings Entertainment Network, that we're doing. It's the first home game in almost a month.
Wow.
So there's a lot for Vikings fans to see that will be in attendance on Sunday.
I can't believe, by the way, VEN is so underrated. I don't know if you talked about this at all when you came back on Monday. And Las Vegas, Allegiant Stadium.
Yeah.
I got to be honest, we are so spoiled at US Bank Stadium for in-game bits, things that keep fans engaged and stuff throughout games. Just final clipping penalty of the show. We are so spoiled with VEN. I was very underwhelmed with how things happened in a city that all they do is party.
Yeah, the Wren, you know, and I'll watch websites up to games and stuff. The Wren, the Raiders Entertainment Network. I mean, it's they haven't been there that long, so it's, like developing things and stuff like that. I will say, and I love U.S. Bank Stadium, and it's no homerific talk here. We've been to them all. I mean, it's as good, if not the very best, for amenities, sight lines, comfortability than the giant doors on the west side, the pivoting doors and everything. But to give Allegiant its respect, which it needs. There is one thing that they have, that R&B cover band that plays during TV timeouts. I mean, I'm hearing Stylistics, You Are Everything, and then after that it's Betcha by Golly Wow, and then it's Flashlight. I mean, that little band up there was pretty cool.
Yeah, if the Raiders can figure out how to get their Oakland fan base to Vegas, or at least that strong fan base to Vegas with the glitz and glamour that stadium provides and all the in-game entertainment, that could be one of the premier stadiums in the NFL. This is, of course, U.S. Bank is the premier stadium, but to have a whiteout, to have a college-like environment in the NFL, I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about how crazy Sunday's game is going to be.
You, my friend, are the very best, and we look forward to seeing you Friday at Buffalo Wild Wings, Apple Valley, for the Friday football feast. Thank you, G.
Appreciate you, PA. Appreciate you, Nort.
Gabe Henderson at Gabe A. Henderson via Twitter. We finished the show with Alan Horton, the radio vox for the Minnesota Timberwolves. He's in Philadelphia, and the Wolves and the Sixers are on the Fan tonight at 6 o'clock. Let's catch up with the vox around the corner on
The Fan. Ain't nothing I can say, nothing I can do.
Alan Horton is the longtime play-by-play voice of the Minnesota Timberwolves, and you can hear Alan this evening on FM 100.3 KFAN calling the Wolves and the Philadelphia 76ers, and opening tap takes place at 6 o'clock, and Alan from the Fighting City of Philadelphia joins us now. Alan, Paul Allen, Nordo here. What's going on, brother?
Fellas, how are you?
Pretty good, man. Excited for that game tonight. I mean, it's 6 o'clock on the Fan, and first, what a win in Miami. I mean, how much fun.
Yeah, as you know, PA, when we get into doing play-by-play, you love to be in that atmosphere, right? We're never good enough to be playing an NBA game or playing an NFL game, but you want to be in that atmosphere, right? And be in a game that matters. The crowd is going nuts. You got star players on both sides. It's what you live for. And that game just, you don't even have to add anything to it as an announcer. It's just reeking with intensity on every single possession. And you've got Rudy and Cat and Ant going up against Bam and Jimmy, and Tyler Hero. I mean, it was awesome. It was an awesome win. And I'm expecting more of the same tonight, because the Wolves are in the 16-game gauntlet where they're playing 16 straight opponents over 500. I mean, it's just unbelievable. And so every night you're facing a Miami. Well, now you got Joel Embiid, the NBA's leading scorer, and the 76ers at home. Then you're going home to play the LA Lakers. Then you're going on the road to play Sacramento. Then you're playing OKC, the number 2 team in the West, after Christmas. I mean, it just never ends. It's big game after big game, and it's what you live for. And I think the guys are all enjoying it and embracing it.
Vox, I brought this up with Chris Finch when he joined 9 to noon. It was yesterday or Monday, one of the two. And it was yesterday after the Heat game. And, because you've called a bunch of games at, what's that? Is it American Airlines? What do they call the arena?
It used to be. Then it went FTX, and now it's Kaseya Center.
Okay, so you've called games there. It's an Eastern Conference team, so therefore not as many as, say, like Denver or whatever. But it's I can't remember the last time I saw a Miami Heat game in the regular season where the fans were out of their seats, just because it was end-to-end action, and you got Ant Duncan here and Adebayo with a putback there, and they were out of their seats with like 5, 6, 7 minutes to go, and not sitting. You don't see that in that arena often, right?
No, you don't, and that arena takes at least half a game to fill up, because they just show up late. They've got other things to do. It's not like coming to Philly or Boston or New York, which I love. Those 3 places. Having grown up in the Northeast, the passion in these 3 cities is unbelievable. It's through the roof, and the arenas are nothing special. Maybe Madison Square Garden, has a little history to it. It's kind of a cool arena, but Philly and Boston, those are just generic cookie cutter arenas. but those places are the best atmosphere. It's so intense. And you're right, to your point, Miami got spoiled by the Big Three era when LeBron and Wade and Bosh were there. And they show up late and they don't often get into it, but I think it speaks to the level of that game that they were on their feet in that fourth quarter, going back and forth, and the lead is changing hands, and Rudy's blocking shots, and Ant's getting away for dunks and hitting crucial shots down the stretch, and Cat and Rudy connecting on that alley-oop. It was one big play after another.
Alan Horton, play-by-play voice on KFAN for the Minnesota Timberwolves, at Wolves Radio via Twitter if you'd like to follow.
Hey, Alan, with this Sixers team, they're kind of interesting because they're going to compete for supremacy in the East, no doubt about it. But they've been kind of going through some pains where it's Embiid, it's Maxey, and then, well, who else, right? I mean, Harden's gone. You got Kelly Oubre getting hit by a car. You got all kinds of weird stuff. They're trying to find other forms to score.
Kelly Oubre got hit by a car?
Yeah, he was riding his bike in downtown Philly.
That's why he was out?
Like Center City area. And just got smacked by a car.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry,
but he's back. But to that end, when we're looking at the matchup tonight, as in awe as I was, maybe you were, and most were, with how good that matchup was in South Beach the other night. What does that look like when Embiid is going to get the ball share? He's going to get the action, and he's going to force the issue almost for 40 minutes tonight. What does that look like with Rudy versus Joel?
Yeah, it's going to be a fascinating matchup, and it's really going to take whoever else is on the floor with Rudy or Cat or Nas or Kyle Anderson. They're going to have to throw everybody at him, and you know what? They might throw everybody at him and center their defense around Joel, and he still might score 35 points, have 15 rebounds, and have 7 or 8 assists. And that's kind of what happened the last 2 times the Wolves have been here. They've won both of those games in nail-biters. They jumped out to early 20-point leads in both of them. Only to see Philly come roaring back. Wolves won 2 years ago in double overtime. Last year they hung on down the stretch for the win. But Joel's going to do what he does, and you know, I can't even. I'm getting myself already angry at some of the flops he's about to have tonight. Nobody hits the floor more with more size and strength than any player in the league. It's uncanny how his knees just buckle and he ends up on the floor. I'm going to count the number of times he hits the floor tonight because that's a huge part of his game. He gets to the free throw line 11 times a game. In the last 6 games against the Wolves, he's averaging 16 free throw attempts per game. Last game before Miami, I asked Chris Finch, what's the number? What do you want to keep Bam and Jimmy to at the free throw line? They average 15 a game. He goes under 10. Well, they finished with 9. And so I think there's going to be a similar number for Joel tonight. You've got to keep him in single digits. If they can do that, I think you help limit some of the things that he does really well, which is, and he's a really good free throw shooter too. So he's getting 8 or 9 of his points at the free throw line every night. It's a huge factor tonight.
You can tell me, I don't want to, this is maybe a Rube-like take or a lazy take on my part, but the way that I've kind of looked at it, with this defensive juggernaut that has manifested and flourished here with the Wolves is such a pleasure to watch. But I've kind of looked at it, specifically, we'll take the Mavericks game, for instance. Luka's going to get his, and maybe Embiid gets his tonight, but it's about everybody else. It's about locking down Maxey and limiting big 3-point opportunities, those sorts of things. Is there any way maybe you see it that way as well, where it's like, yeah, Embiid's going to get his, but nobody else is going to have an easy ride?
Yeah, I think that's the way this league is kind of built up at this point. You've got superstars on every team that, and with the rules the way they are, those guys are just going to get theirs. It's just, whether it's Embiid, whether it's Luka, whether it's Curry, it's about making them as inefficient as possible. Can you get them to miss a few shots here and there? Can you get them to turn it over a few times here? Can you exhaust them a little bit, maybe at the defensive end, and those kind of things? But yeah, you can't let anybody else get off. Kelly Oubre has kind of been a sneaky Wolves killer over the last few years, whether he's been, we didn't see him the first time around in Philly because he got hit by that car. But, the last couple of years, whether he's been in Golden State or Charlotte before that, you can't let him go for 25 and have Maxey go for 25 to 30. And then Tobias Harris, who I think, you kind of forget about, and probably Sixers fans forget about because he's on the floor so much and just doesn't average a huge amount and really probably should be a bigger scorer for them. So you're right. You cannot allow some of those secondary pieces to go off along with Embiid.
Wolves Vox, Wolves Radio on Twitter, Alan Horton. The last one here. You're familiar with the name Dave Handelin, correct?
Superstats Dave.
Yep, Superstats Dave on Twitter. All right, and I just saw a tweet where I can really understand why you covet him as an in-game statistician at Target Center. He had this tweet that says the Timberwolves are 20-5. That is 4 wins per 1 loss. NBA playoff series are 7 games. At their current pace, the Wolves would win every series 4-1. I mean, that's next level nuance right there, Vox.
There he is. That's what he does. For 17 years, I've been working with my right hand man, who just nails it. You know, PA, when you do play by play and you have a statistician, you have a spotter, whoever you've got with you, you need to be on the same page with, and then that's crucial to the broadcast because you're doing 100 things at once, and you can't just look over and see a note pass to you and not understand what it is, or have it not be related to what you're talking about. And that's what comes with continuity. And I've had that with Dave for a long, long time. And, the way things are going with this team right now, PA, it's just, 20-5 is just, it's awesome. But I love the attitude the players have. I think I sometimes fall into the fact that I've seen so much Timberwolves basketball, almost half of their franchise's history I've been here now, that I'm amazed by it, but they're not amazed by it. The players aren't. Mike Conley's been here before. Kyle Anderson, Rudy Gobert. These guys have had success before, and they don't feel like they're the hunted because they're the best team in the NBA now with Boston's loss last night. They still feel like they're hunting. They're hunting everybody else. They've got something to prove. Not only have these guys won, the guys that I mentioned, but they haven't gotten to where they want to go ultimately, and that's kind of the attitude this team has. And so if they continue to do that, especially during this stretch, and open up some separation, there's no telling to how far this team can go.
All right, my brother, call a good one tonight. We will be listening on FM 100.3 KFAN at 6 o'clock. Have a wonderful day, all right?
Thank you, PA. Thank you, Nordo. Talk to you guys soon.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Alan Horton at Wolves Radio via Twitter. And, you guys got me all excited for this game this evening. And, we're League Freak Rays, so, of course, we would be excited, but I don't generally get excited for it till about 5:40, 5:45. But, you can listen to a Wolves game tonight on FM 100.3 KFAN. It's really cool. We have the designated T-Wolves channel, iHeartRadio app. But, when it's on the Big Bird, that's phenomenal. And it's tonight against Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey. So that's going to be super cool. Just like all of you listening to 9 to noon today, thank you very much for Eric Nordquist, the on-site producer, and Brett Blakemore, the master mixer at the 651 Carpets Plus Studios. I'm Paul Allen. Have a terrific Wednesday, and we'll talk to you tomorrow, 9 to noon on KFAN.
Good times, we lucky we